Hello, guys. Hope you're doing well. Today, I want to talk about some bad advice you can find online. Yep, bad advice you can find online, and there's plenty of it. So, we've already talked about the manifestation coaches and all of their advice that simply is not something that works. But today, we're going to talk about relationship coaches and people that like to talk about relationships in general. So not just coaches, but like self-proclaimed coaches, I guess, and just people who have podcasts or channels or do TikToks about this topic. And we're gonna talk about which of their advice is bad. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about just the um, basic opinions about what women want, what men want. I have seen numerous people talk about this, and men are always talking like those. I don't think they're coaches, but like I'm not gonna name names because that would be disrespectful, I guess. But men that talk a lot about like men and women and relationships and things, they tend to say that all men want really young women because they have less baggage and they have a lower body count, which doesn't have to be true necessarily, but that's what they think. They preferably want a virgin, and they want someone who has no kids, and they want someone who is, of course, very fit, very pretty, all of those stuff. So this is absolutely a very shallow, view of both women and men as well, because they're making men look very shallow, and they're also making women look a certain way. So, things are not like that in reality. Things are not that simple. I can assure you that a lot of men love plus size women, a really big percentage. Also, a lot of men love women of their own age, or older. Some like younger, some like their own age, and most of them will not really care how old you are or how much you weigh and all of this stuff, because again, people are attracted to your energy. Yes, people are not that shallow, and they're not that simple. They're attracted to energies, and we've been through this. Um, you don't have to be extra beautiful, although everyone is beautiful. You don't have to be a certain body type, and you don't have to be a certain age to have magnetic energy. So none of this is true, and it's a very toxic way. It's a very toxic approach, should I say, to both men and women. Absolutely not true. Okay, and then also, what is a popular opinion is that women prefer tall men and rich men. Again, yes, some do, absolutely. Just like some men prefer young virgins with bodies, absolutely. However, not all of them do. Absolutely, majority doesn't, most likely, because again, we're attracted to energies, and it doesn't matter whether you're tall or rich to have for you to have an attractive energy. The most important thing is, like we talked about, your energy, and your energy is like your soul and the person you are. It's not about these shallow things that they are making you think. Um, so also ask yourself, why are these people you know talking like this? I think it's some sort of frustration coming from their own wounds, because most likely they had some really bad experiences, and now this is what they think. Um, so don't let them, or people that follow them, that that have kind of taken their beliefs as their own, make you feel less worthy or less valuable just because, for example, you have a child or you are over 25 or whatever it is. This is just ridiculous, and I just don't understand how this is still being preached in this day of and age. It doesn't make sense. Okay, let's move on to the next thing that is absolutely ridiculous. And this one is that everyone's a narcissist. So narcissism is a thing, don't get me wrong, but it's not that common. And nowadays, every single ex is portrayed as a narcissist just because they have done some mistakes. And I'm not defending anyone, absolutely not. But just because somebody cheated on someone or did something does not make them necessarily a narcissist. Yes, they are not a nice person, absolutely. Doesn't necessarily make them a narcissist. Also, we all have a shadow side of ourselves, as you know, and we should be doing shadow work because of that. It doesn't mean that we are narcissists, that we are mean, that we are bad, that we are crazy, that we are insane. So I just feel like the word narcissist, the term narcissist, and the diagnosis of narcissism is just something that gets slapped on everyone without actually making the proper, analysis. So that's a bit toxic, I think, and it kind of also puts everybody who has had a bad experience into victim mentality, because now automatically you are a victim of a narcissist and you view yourself as a victim of a narcissist. And don't get me wrong, absolutely you are a victim if something unpleasant happened to you. But what this is gonna do, watching a bunch of videos about narcissism and how you are this big victim, it's just gonna put you in victim mentality even more, and it's just gonna make your vibration even lower. And that's not good. That's not good. You should be working on yourself and not analyzing this whole narcissistic situation, or what you think it is a narcissistic situation. So it's just making you spiral and making you think about those things more and more, and making you live through it again and again and again, and putting you in this victim role for way longer than you should be there. So that's number 2. So number 3 is the no contact rule. As you know, all of this, pretty much every single one of these relationship coaches, is all about the no contact rule. So if you break up with someone, you should go no contact, and you should stay no contact until the person comes back. So if you think that no contact, just staying in no contact brings access back, you're very much wrong. Actually, majority of them, if there's no contact, as you know, I'm sure you know this, they will never come back, right? When you are in no contact, you want to get into contact, not necessarily by you actually sending a message or something like that. We have a whole thing there, but no contact as a rule is not something that is a rule, really, and it's not something that will get you your ex back. So if you just go no contact, most likely nothing's gonna happen. If that's your only strategy, nothing's gonna happen. So this is ridiculous, and I don't know how what logic is behind it, that you just do nothing, you're not in contact, and the person will just come back. It doesn't make sense to me at all. So yes, no contact is sometimes required when we are doing spell work, and usually you will be in no contact. So we're trying to make the other side reach out with spell work and raising your vibration, but just with staying in no contact, no. Also, there are situations when you want to stay in contact with your ex, and your ex maybe will want to stay friends with you, and they're gonna tell you, no, you shouldn't, just block them and go no contact. How is that gonna bring them back? Don't listen to that. If you are in contact with your ex, that's great, and stay in contact in that case. If your ex is contacting you, do not block them, obviously. So that's another absolutely ridiculous thing you're gonna hear online. Yep. Another thing you're gonna hear online quite often, and this is again making human beings quite simple, is that if somebody goes to, or if somebody breaks up with you, or if somebody disappears for a while, it means that that person is not interested in you at all, has other options, left you for someone else for sure, and things like that. While this can be the case, absolutely, it doesn't have to be. We are all very much unique people. Everybody has a very complex brain. Everybody has their own traumas. Everybody reacts in a certain way. Everybody has their own attachment style. So, it doesn't necessarily mean that. So they're going to just advise you, block this person, do not give them a second chance. They're only back because somebody else turned them down, or they got bored or whatever. This doesn't have to be why they're back. Maybe they actually have emotions for you, and they couldn't go for it because they're scared. A lot of the times people will be afraid of love. People will be afraid of getting hurt. We don't know what the reason is, and you just can't make assumptions like this. And so don't believe things like that. These are all stuff that are making everybody the same, that are making everybody very simple. And trust me, every single person is very much unique, is very much special, is just complex. We are all complex and complicated and stubborn and those all sorts of stuff, and they just make it all very simple. If this happened, it means this. If that happened, it means that. This is not true. Not necessarily. They don't have all the answers. Nobody does. Nobody knows everything. And when someone goes with such certainty to analyze every single man in the same way, when they do a certain type of behavior, it needs to mean this. I think it's very it's a bit narcissistic, not in the terms of that person being a narcissist, but like every one of us has a little bit of narcissism in us, and it's not the disorder that everyone's talking about. So it's not how it works. And just because somebody said, oh, it means that they are not into you and that they are cheating on you, or whatever it is, and now you're gonna think, oh yeah, that's it for sure, and it's just gonna create anxiety inside of you, feelings you're not good enough, all sorts of stuff. And then if the person texts you, you're just gonna be mean to them, you're gonna be passive aggressive, and you're gonna ruin everything. So please, guys, try to look at everything from a logical point of view. And yeah, those are the tips I have for you today. Should we call them tips? I don't know. Anyways, I love you. Bye.